Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. This is part 4 of the Tamiya Royal Navy Sea Harrier, the 148 scale by Tamiya. As you can see, we are nearing completion, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get this finished tonight. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep streaming until this thing is done, or at least assembled anyway. Because putting decals on and stuff like that is a lot of waiting time and things like that. So I might just get to the decal point tonight, but not quite finished, and then finish up tomorrow morning, kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So last time we got the landing gear and the wings all on and completed. That's all done. Everything looks pretty good, even from the front. The landing gear looks like it's all lined up nice and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Yes, sirree. So the next thing on the agenda is the drop tanks and the Sidewinder missiles. So they need to be painted up a little bit. Obviously you can see I've painted them white, but they need to have, the drop tanks are like half and half white and half blue. But they're not just a simple, pardon me, they're not just a simple straight line across. Looking at pictures of it, it's like they go up to the point and then the line kind of drops down just a hair and then comes back up to the point. It's just a little bit of a little curve like that as it goes down. So to do that, I'm going to use this stuff and then my regular tape. Pardon me. I need a drink. Probably need something stronger than this. Stronger than water would be nice, but I don't have any right now, so that's just the way it is. I want to check something here real quick. Yeah, that's working. Okay. Let's see. Scissors. And a little strip tape. And with the Sidewinders, typical fashion, from that line there down, that's all going to be gunmetal color. And then a couple little stripes on it. And that's all that needs to be done on those. So, we have a little strip here. So as I said, it's not just straight, it comes down just a little bit. What's going to be difficult is, at least I'm anticipating, it keeping it yeah, it's going to be difficult keeping it. I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm thinking right now. Let's screw that one up. Let's not do that. Let's not screw it up. I have to kind of trim it as it goes around that corner that wants to come back up. I don't want that. This front really wants to slide down. So I'll just have to be mindful of that when I'm painting it. That's not how it goes. And that's kind of it. I think that's, yeah, kind of how it goes. All right. So you can see there's going to be just a little bit more blue than there is white. But still, it's enough that when you look at it, either from the very top or the very bottom, it's just, I don't know, I want to look at some real pictures here and see how that looks. So I'm not quite convinced. What I'm doing is correct. Let's see if I can show you guys here. Let me move that picture over. If I can. There, see, you can see how that it's actually lower than halfway there in that picture, right? So that's what I'm going for. And that's actually quite a bit lower than what I'm doing here. Although I have this not quite. I definitely have it lower than the halfway line. I think that I'm just going to say that's good enough. The tricky part is going to be doing the same thing on this one. But we will try. We will try. We will try. A little bit harsher angle. And then go back up. And compare. Not quite. There we go. That's what I want. And for this, I need to get back in. good for that side. This, I just want to make sure goes across. There we go. Okay. Another piece. It's gone way too low on that side. Wow. I'm a little crazy there. Side is going to prove to be difficult because it doesn't line up at all. And the back is totally off. Well, let's trim this one down so that I'm not working with so much material there. Get off of me. Get off of me. There. I don't know why it doesn't stick to the model that good. Like, come on. We may have trimmed a little too much over this side, but that's okay. I can make up for it with this side. Okay. Why doesn't it line up like it all? I've got it too high up. That's what the problem is. Let's go down a little lower and then come up. That's better. I had great success on the first one. This one is really not being cooperative. I think the problem is that it's so easy to stretch it slightly and not have a straight line with this tape. I want to have a straight line. And then have it come up. Okay. Same deal. You. That looks better. Okay. I just need this to come up there. And then I can do this. That looks good there. Now to get the front of the seam. Starts about there. Out here, okay. It makes a difference where it starts its ascent up to the middle. Yeah, that looks a lot more even just by doing that. Big difference. Okay. We're ready for some blue paint on these. Now, the question is, how am I going to hold these? I do this. I think I can get away with that. Yeah, it should be okay. All right. This out. Get my blue paint. I'm going to open here. I don't need this open no more. And I don't need that open. There we go. Now, I may have put it on too thick, and I may have gotten some seepage underneath that tape, which is why I'm kind of holding it upside down right now. If there is excess paint, it's going to want to dry, run down this way instead of down against the tape line. So I'm just going to put this here underneath the can of paint to keep it in that position. And I'm just going to make sure I've got good pressure on my lines here. Okay, so now we'll see how these look. Let's put this over here under this can of paint. Okay. Now these guys, we need just a little strip of tape around them. Don't need much. What I'll do is cut that like that. Drop it on the floor. Bring it down. Can't see without my glasses. There we go. All right. Tamiya was nice enough to put some raised lines on this. I knew exactly where to put the tape, and it will be lined up perfectly on both of these. Now, I'm going to fix this line here just a little bit. See with this one. Okay. Now, a little bit of extra masking tape to prevent any overspray on the white. Just like that. That's all I really need. Give it a little skirt. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I'm weird. Oh well. All right. So these are ready for paint. Peeling off, that's your problem. Alright, gunmetal, 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 right there. One done. Let's grab my little things. Grab my things. Two done. Boop. There we go. Okay. Oh, drop everything. Okay, and I'm going to hit this with a another coat now. I noticed I got a little bit of overspray, a little too happy with that. So a little strip there just to cover that. This is dry now, but like I said, I got a little too happy with the paint. Which tells me I might wind up having to go back over this with the white again. I hope not, but you never know. A little bit better covers there. Now this one too. It's the same deal on this one. I'll have to hit it again. And the same deal, I got some overspray. I might be able to get away with just using a cotton swab for the little bit that's got overspray on it. Maybe. Let's see. All right. See, I can't take the tape off. I can't let the alligator clip go because it's holding the tape. Alright, so let that dry. Let's get the tape off with my scissors. Now, the canopy. This guy here. I've got a conflict of colors that this thing is supposed to be for the framing around the glass as it sits on there. The book, the instructions, they want me to paint it what are they calling it here? Buff, what? A mixture of buff and white. And so buff is like the kind of a tan color. So basically a really light tan is what they want it to be colored, painted, is the frame. And I mean, on a blue plane, why is that almost, you know, a tan color frame around the glass? This doesn't seem right. So in my pictures that I found of this plane, it can be either that color or the same color as the fuselage. There's lots of pictures online and they show both. It's the same deal with the jet nozzles. On some planes, these front ones are the gunmetal color, just like the rear, and on other planes, they're fuselage color. So it's kind of, you know, take your pick. Which one do you want to do? And it seems to be the same thing with the canopy. I want to say that most of them out there, the canopy is the same color as the fuselage, and not that really super light beige color. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it the fuselage color. So I need to mask that off in its outlines, and then paint. I don't want to paint with a brush on this one. I want to spray it. This is my usual fashion. Got one more clear piece. Reading the instructions. So many planes, they have this thing, is the clear green. You know, it's that kind of the little heads-up display thing that goes on the front. I don't know if it's really the heads-up display or what, but they usually get that little piece of glass, and it's usually a colored clear green glass. But on this plane, it's just plain clear, which is fine. There isn't a whole lot of framing on this thing. Except in the front, you got your typical frame that goes all the way around, and then you've got two bars that go across. Here, it seems par for the course. Okay, that's that. Let's check on my little missiles here. They're dry. Let's see how my tape held up. It did its job. Got one little line that's where it seeped through, but I think I can fix that just with a very light scrape. Maybe not. So I'll have to put a little dab of white on that. That's okay. It's going to be depend on whether or not it's in a spot that's going to be seen. Will determine whether I want to actually fix it or not. Yeah, see, that's the one drawback with this with the vinyl tape. Yeah, it's great. You can do bends with it and stuff, and it holds. But if it goes over top of itself, it's very easy to get seepage underneath of it there where it goes over top. And that's exactly what's happened. Other than that, we've got now gunmetal tip. Now, I know that a lot of sidewinders, they've got little, I don't know even what they are, but they're little things that are on the very corner tips of each little fin, and they're usually a gunmetal color, but they haven't even put the detail of those on this one, on these at all. And some models they have it, and some they don't. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a detail thing on the model, or if in real life some sidewinders have those and some don't. I really don't know. Maybe something to do with the generation of the missile. I don't know. In any case, I've got just a couple of little lines to paint, stripes, whatever you want to call them, around that. And then the details on those are done. Let's see how our tanks are doing. Let's try. Let's see how this turned out. And what, if anything, I need to fix. Because, you know, it's very possible that this winds up looking like shit. Nice crisp line on that side. Well, we did okay. Got a little bit of a screw up right there, but that's really nothing. There we go. That's one. Next, see how this one did. Pretty good. Pretty good. Oh yeah. This one's perfect. Except for my overspray right there. A little strip of overspray right in the middle there. Oh yeah, there is this one too, just not as defined. So I guess it's not quite so perfect. Now to look at them, they look pretty good as far as the paint lines lining up. It's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. The level of detail on this model, it's not bad. I'm going to try the alcohol and the cotton swab and see if I can get rid of that little bit of overspray in the middle on there. Let's see how good of a job I can do getting rid of that. Just want to get rid of the blue, not the white. And that went splendidly. That was perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Cleaned up very nice. I'm happy about that. Okay. So those are done. I'm going to mask off my canopy. I think what I'll do while I'm working all this, I got my little engine bay doors piece that I've done. That's going to go right here, and I'm going to glue that in right now. And then that piece will be done. These two little tabs here to glue it to. So I'll just put some glue on those. Oops. Now I need a little more glue on those. Okay, let that sit and dry. I don't quite have it centered. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to let that dry, just like that, while I work on painting the canopy. I might do a little dab of thin set just on each end, just to make sure I've got good glue on there. Oh, so last time I was pointing out the fact that there's no detail for the vents that go around this part of the intake on each side. Like you see in this picture here. See these vents here. They didn't detail those very well at all on this. If I hadn't painted this all, see what they did with this plane is there's almost no panel lines that are recessed. They're all raised, including the ones around here. But they're so faint you can just barely see them. And had I even thought of it at the time, before I had painted this, I would have just sanded them down smooth and then made up my own, right? But I didn't realize that, and so I was figuring out, what am I going to do? Am I going to mask it off and then paint? Am I going to just try and paint them by hand? And I realized if I paint them by hand, they're going to look horrible. I'm not a super steady painter. So what I did is I took a little piece of paper and I just went around the edge of it like this, and I drew on the paper wherever each single one is. I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to duplicate this on tape, and I will cut that out, and then I'll put the tape around there, and then I'll paint it by hand. And by using the tape, it's going to make it so that nice crisp lines, nice and square, just like it needs to be. And so that's what I plan on doing. I don't think I'm going to get to that tonight. So now that I'm thinking about it, I said I'm going to be building this, I'm going to finish it tonight. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not going to be done. So, because just the amount of time that it's going to take, and then there's waiting time and stuff like that for things like that. I don't like to do that, and I don't like to make you guys sit there while I go, okay, all right, I've done this, okay, now, yeah, I'm going to sit and wait and do nothing. No, I don't like that. No, I don't want to do it to you either, right? So, I'm going to work on this while that's drying. So I need a couple little strips of this stuff. Might as well just do this and get some lengths pre-cut. Okay. Now what I have done in the past is just taken a single piece of masking tape, wrapped it around there, and then put the grooves in and gone that route. But this time I think I just want to take this and just kind of line them up. Just because the grooves on these are not, they're almost easier to see than they are to feel, if that makes any sense. And it's not a long enough piece, so we're going to go to the side where we got a longer piece. we go. All right. It's almost like there's no framing at the along this edge. I want to double check the book. The book does show a line going all the way around the edge too. But, oh yeah, there is a line. It's just really, really faint. Okay. Okay. It's just very small. Very, very small. Now that I got the tape on there, I can see where it is. It's just a hairline. So, let's take this. All right, that's done. Another piece. Such a tiny little hairline, just a super tiny, like maybe even less than a millimeter wide. The back part is not nearly as bad, but it's also not very defined either. So I need to just a short piece, about that long. Just to fill it in there. There we go. Okay. So now I'll just take a little piece of normal tape and put it in the middle there. Okay, this one's ready to go. Okay, now for this piece, I think I am just going to do my masking tape thing, because it's easier to see the lines through it. Almost perfect sized piece here. All right. Wow, there's nobody in the chat. So disappointing. Just doing this all by myself. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe I'll get some people watching me tomorrow when I'm doing a hot tub stream with a model. That's right. You heard it here first. Actually, no, you didn't hear it because there ain't nobody here. Why am I even talking? I don't know. Because I'm weird. Okay. I think I have this kind of fingernail laid out, marked out kind of thing. It's really hard to tell because you can't see the actual lines. I'm going to try my little pen thing and see how that does. This line is very defined. Okay, I think I have the lines drawn out where I need them. Alright, let's see how this looks. The middle part didn't get cut very good. Okay. Lines up okay. That line doesn't look straight, so I'm going to do this one. Much better. Okay. Alright. I think it's good enough for our purposes. It'll do just fine. Now, I want to prevent overspray getting underneath. The last few models I've done, I've gotten underspray underneath the canopy, and I don't like that. So what I'm gonna do is put this underneath this. So I can put it in the middle. So I completely cover it. And then I'll actually put this on here too. There we go. So that should, in theory, prevent overspray from getting in there. And we're going to do this canopy color. Canopy color? That would be clear, wouldn't it? That color. Don't need a lot. Just covering clear. But at the same time, I want to put it very lightly so that there's less chance of it going through. While I'm waiting for that to dry a little bit, I just want to check something. Okay, what's that? Okay, second coat. Okay, that's going to be good enough. Let that dry. Now this, I'm going to add a little bit of thin set to it. just to make sure my little thing stays where it's supposed to. So we all know how bad it gets when your little thing gets out of control. It's never a good thing. Okay, now to put those on, I need to set this like this. And so, what am I going to use for that? Well, this thing balanced on two wings. I get to have this in such a position well, it should allow me to put these guys on. See how they fit first. A nice tight press fit, or they fit super loose. Looks like they fit just kind of, well, there's a little bit of a wiggle in there. But I think with it straight up and down, it's sitting fine. Okay. So I can put one of them on while that's drying. Multitasking. Yay! One tank on. Just in case you didn't see it. It's like, oh no, I made them backwards. No, it's fine, it's fine. I suppose I could have done it with the big round end first. Just a moment. No. Oops. Round end first. Round end first, not pointy end first. Yeah. In case I haven't said it lately, I'm not a professional modeler. This is just a hobby that I enjoy doing and I enjoy sharing with you guys. But I'm not a professional in any sense. Here we go. Both of them on now, the right way around. You know, a couple hours from now I'll realize, oh no, there's a left and a right. No. That would really suck. That would suck. Okay, hopefully my little tape on the inside prevented overspray from getting inside. did prevent it from getting inside. So that's good. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. If I put this like this, maybe you'll see the tiny, tiny little outline along the bottom edge. It's just such a tiny little line. So yeah, it's not really very visible at all. Okay, and there's our front piece. Holy shit, the plane's got a windshield wiper on it. Literally, it has a windshield wiper. Like, you know, I could feel the raised part when I was putting the tape on, and I was like, why is that raised there? But it was clear, so I couldn't see it. Now that I got paint on it, there's a freaking windshield wiper right there. I don't know if you can see it, but holy shit, there's a windshield wiper, like right along this edge here. Who knew? Who knew planes had windshield wipers? I could see that on a passenger airline, you know, maybe, but really? On a freaking Harrier? Well, you know what? Who knows? Back in 1982, when this thing was first built, I mean the model, like, Tamiya has been making this thing since '82. Yeah, so, you know, another thing I found when looking at these things online, landing gears down like this, these doors are closed. It's like once the landing gear goes down, the doors close up again, front and rear. So, in theory, had I looked at these pictures beforehand, I never would have cut them. I would have just kept them as one solid piece and put them in there like that. If I build another Harrier model, I will know. Okay, those are on there. I still have to paint the sidewinders. This is probably going to be safe enough to flip back over. So that's how we're looking there. You can see that line. We're getting there. We're getting there. I guess I could put these guys on. I don't see why I can't. What difference it will make to put them on. What's going to be tricky with these is they slide through and they actually join together. They join together like that. And that's why there's that notch here. Right there, there's a notch in that shaft for this to go. And they go, and they slide together like that. Which means you put a little bit of glue just on this, stick it in, and then you stick in the other one, and then they glue together, and then now they'll rotate just a little bit. They'll rotate up and down. But here's the tricky part. Getting that in there without getting any glue anywhere. And as you can see, it goes all the way through right to there, where the other piece goes over top. So, what's the solution? I could put a little dab on the bottom of this one and put it in, except it shoves that one out and makes it fall on the floor. if I put glue on this before putting it in, I'm definitely going to get glue everywhere else. If I try and put glue on it while... Oh, I had it sitting on the cockpit. Freaked me out. I thought I broke a wheel off. If I put it like this and try and put my glue in there, that ain't going to work because that's a little glue brush. If I try and, you know, use a toothpick and just kind of like touch it in there, it's not going to be much. Anyway, I look at it, I'm either gluing these things solid, or I'm going to have such a tiny, tiny little amount of glue that realistically, if they only move that much, I think I might just, yeah, what the fuck, I just glue them like that. So I'll just put glue on this side. I'll just put glue on this side and let the glue fall where it may. And if it glues solid, it glues solid. If it doesn't, then cool. I want them up on that angle. And that's that. Okay. So those are on. Let's get back to these guys. I have to paint a couple little black stripes around them. So that, and I want my little tiny brush. Okay. Roommate's coming home. All right. 2 little stripes. As I said before, I don't have the steadiest hand when I'm painting. I do okay, but far from perfect. There we go. One done. This one has some imperfections in it. Makes it a little bit difficult to paint a nice straight line. that's okay. Got her done. Stripes done on that one too. And that's it for that. Now those are ready to get mounted on. Because they stick out quite a ways with the front of the wing, I want to wait for those before I put them on. So that's what I'm going to do. Then another couple of pieces for the canopy. That was a good trick, wasn't it? I also do acrobatics tricks. No, I don't. Okay, so canopy has a couple of pieces that go together. This guy here, and that guy there. So they want that flat black. And light gray. It doesn't make any sense. They want that flat black and in there light gray. Okay. There's this piece also. Let's make sure they are nice and cleaned up. This is where the highly detailed cockpit comes in. It's nothing more than decal for the instrument cluster. That just goes on a flat panel there. And that's all it is. And this is going to go on here somewhere, somehow, like that, I guess. Maybe. And then this goes on here, like so. So this needs to be the same blue, otherwise that's going to look really stupid. So get the blue. First I'm going to do this. I don't want it to blow away on me. That's that. Just one coat on that. Now this guy is supposed to be flat black. But then with this piece, this thing in here, they want that gray for when I put the decal on. Decal. It's this guy right here. Looks like it might be clear, and that could be why they want it gray. So there's the decal. I guess what I should do is maybe just mask that off. A couple little a couple of little strips. There we go. Let's press that in there in the corners, make sure that it stays. And there. So I'll put it over here. That's gunmetal. I don't want gunmetal, I want flat black. Okay, with that done, this piece done. Let's take a look at what else we've got left to do on this. We've got the long nose piece that goes sticking out here, which has this color, and then it's aluminum rod that sticks out. That's this guy here. That guy there. There's a couple of fins that can go back here. Okay, so this guy's going to go right there. So I'm going to paint this little part blue. Okay, that's blue now. Let's just take my guys here and hold on to you. Why you do me like that? Come on. Okay. Just need some paint in different angles. Just to make sure it gets the black everywhere on it. But that is done now. It's this thing. Okay, I'm going to glue that in. This little section here needs to be, I want it to be light gray. Well, the model just happens to be molded in that color. So that's now light gray. Okay, that's glued together now. I'm going to have to get in there on this side and paint, which would have been easier had I not glued it yet. But it's the way it is. This is dry now. And our little gray piece stayed gray. Okay, so I'll put the decal on that. Pet peeve of mine is when you put the decal in the water and it goes upside down. I always want my decals facing up in the water. One of those things. So I guess this just goes like that. So I got a feeling this is supposed to be a certain color. This doesn't go over the top. It goes like that. And that's really weird how they've done that. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. It's ready to come off. Yeah, it's a good call in keeping that panel gray. You wouldn't be able to see any of the instruments in there had I painted them black. But that is bugging me as to how that's going to look. That's how it goes. Okay. That's not so bad then. Except that this whole piece should be the same color as the plane. So I don't want to bother masking off a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just gonna spray a little blob and then use my brush and touch that up a little bit in there. Nice and fast. Okay. Oh, you know what? There we go. Now that's painted all over like it's supposed to be. This thinner doesn't really quite do the job. I mean, I guess it's technically made to thin out the brush paints, not the aerosols. But it does the job pretty much anyway. All right, let's see. I hadn't really noticed it before, But, oh, do these move? Well, just kind of barely. You just kind of, you know, just a slight tiny bit. That's okay. This piece here is actually crooked. You see that? It's got a bump in it. You can see it more prominently from the pilot's point of view. How it is higher here than it is here. See that? So it looks kind of funny when you put the canopy on. It doesn't quite line up. And I don't know if that's on purpose or not. There's our instrument panel. It's looking better on this camera. The light really washes it out, doesn't it? If only I wasn't so white. Okay, let's put my little sidewinders over here. Let's put this over here, put this over here, just so I can bring this a little closer. Let's see how this is going to fit in there. It just kind of sits like that. Okay. Just kind of sits on that edge, that's fine. Put a little glue on there. Okay, glue stuck. Now this guy is going to go over top, just like that. So I think I'm just going to put the glue on the two bottom strips, and not on the front facing because it doesn't line up properly. Oh, you know why that's raised up on there? That's going to hold the gear and the motor for the freaking windshield wiper. That's what that's for. Now the big decision. Do I glue this closed? Open. Now technically I can't, because I chose to have the engine bay doors open, I can't have the canopy slid back far enough. Well, I guess I could do that. It's kind of this little piece that sticks out at the back here can go in between the two doors. And I could have it just kind of rest there like that. And I could glue it like that. But typically what I like to do is just leave this part of the canopy unglued and just have it displayed like that. And then if somebody ever does want to have a look inside, they can just take it off. And I kind of have that with my other models, right? So I might just do that and just leave it like that, rather than actually gluing it. Especially like if you want to look at the instrument cluster, it's really hard to see through the glass. You get reflections and everything like that, and it's really hard to tell. Which is why it's kind of nice to be able to remove it altogether, and then you get a good look at it. So I think I'll do that. I'll just leave it like that. Okay. So, with that being done, let's put this guy over here for now. We have our little antenna thingy that needs painting. With aluminum. It's a weird thing that opens, but that. There we go. An aluminum antenna. It's a weird container for paint. So everybody's gonna have something different, I guess. I suppose to each his own. So I gotta let that dry for a minute. I think what I'm gonna do now is I will put the side winders on. So I haven't got much left to do on this as far as assembly. I'll just simply go on there like that. Always a chore having them, making sure they line up correctly. If they go cockeyed, they look weird. sometimes have to let it sit for a minute. And even then, they don't always stay. Turn this around. So I can put this one on. Okay. That one was a little more eager to do the right thing. So I'll give that a minute before flipping it back over and installing the antenna. Meanwhile, I'm going to get myself some cold water. So I will be back in a minute. Okay. That should be long enough. I should be able to flip that over and they should stay put. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Now, the antenna sits in this little slot here, like that. That was easy. If you want to be that cooperative, I'm not going to argue. Just like that. Okay. I think that's it. As far as parts to go on, I think that's it. But I will double check. I forgot a piece, a little clear piece that I was talking about earlier. That's supposed to go down inside here. And there ain't no way it's going in there now. So much for that. Next, there are two little fins that are supposed to go there and there. Which means that is the end of the build, or end of assembly. Oh, two little fins and two little guys, two little, I don't know what you want to call them, but they go here and here. All four of those things are going to be blue. So that's the two little fins here and these two little guys here. I wish I'd known that they were going to go on there, because I would have put them on and then painted them. These two I can leave on the tree, but these I have to take off. I'm tempted just to these things are supposed to be some kind of little air duct. Which would mean the front of them, this side is supposed to be black. So I think I will do that, but I need to get them painted blue first. But before I paint them blue, I gotta make sure they're not going to blow away on me. And these will be the last pieces to get put on the plane. Next step is decals. Now, what I should do I think what I want to try doing with this is paint the thing in the flat clear. Now I can't use the panel line accent color on this thing because none of the panels, or almost none of the panels, are recessed, right? They're raised. So what would happen is if I used that, it would basically just run along the outside of it and kind of not look good at all. Now, alternatively, I could use a black wash, and then with the black wash, once it's dried, I can use the Q-tip and the alcohol and clean it up where I want to. But what I've been finding, take a look at this guy. Okay, now you can see, especially along the middle here, that's a little bit of lighter, looks like a lighter color than what's like, say, at the wingtip along here, right? Or underneath. So I use the panel line accent color and I go along and I paint this whole thing with it, and then I take the alcohol with the swab and I clean it all up. And the alcohol actually rubs the paint right off a little bit, and that's why that looks like a lighter color along there. Now it might look okay because it gives it a really worn look, and that's fine. But when you've got a lighter color underneath your paint, it doesn't look that great. And of course, this thing's molded in light gray. If I start rubbing through this blue, it's going to have light gray underneath of it, and that's going to look like shit. So what I'm thinking is spray it with a flat clear And then at least if it's rubbing through the clear and not the blue. So I think I'm going to give that a shot. And that's what I'm going to try doing, I think. So I've got my flat clear over there, but I'm going to put these pieces on first. And they both need a second coat of blue. So while that is drying, I'm going to want to mask off the canopy so I don't paint it flat clear. That would be tragic. As you keep going on the build of this thing, I'm having to be more and more careful where I grab it. Okay, that's done. Do I really need to mask the engine? The engine's got some shiny bits in there. I don't know if I really need to mask it so much as just kind of cover it. Watch, I'll do this, put the paper in there, and then it'll drop in there and it'll be gone forever. There. I think that'll be alright. Maybe I'll just put a tiny little piece of tape on there. So it's something for it to stick to. Screwdriver time. There. Painting by screwdriver. Yeah, these little fins. Let's see that. One. And two. Okay. Now, I can see the spots that go on. Getting them on there and getting them even is going to be a tough work. One. And two. Okay, those are on. Now these guys. What I want to do, these things got a lot of white paint sprayed on them, so I want to kind of get rid of some of that, so the blue will stick a little better. See exactly where they go. I think the best bet is to do that. than that. Careful, we don't want to drop it. Because you know if you drop it, it's gone. Okay. You are ready. What was this? For dropping it and it gone? There we go. Now we are ready for the flat clear. Which means this is going to go here. And grab my flat clear. Alright, so this should be it. Yes. That should be good enough. Turn around just to be sure to get the other side. Good. And that's that. Engine stayed nice and shiny. Glass stayed nice and clear and shiny. All right. Now, once this is completely dry, it'll be ready for a black wash. The flat really is flat. Okay. So I'm going to pour some of this out, or I'm going to pour all of this out actually, so I can get ready to create my black wash. So all I'm going to do is put some black paint in here, and then I'll put a little bit of water in there to dilute it. my wash. It's probably enough, just like that. Okay, back in a moment. Okay, got my black soup. Now as I do this, you'll see that there's no real lines, panel lines for it to run into. It just sits on top, doesn't really do anything. There's no lines for it to run into. So what's going to happen is it's going to dry in all these little black splotches everywhere. And that's it. And then I have to come along afterwards with the you know, the what you call it, the rubbing alcohol. Wow, brain farting or what? The only actual panel lines are indented are a couple of panels on the side here, and that's it. So there you go, there's my awful looking black wash. But hopefully it's only awful looking temporarily. And that has to dry like that. I wish there were better panel lines on this thing. Actually indented ones. That I could actually do something with. But they're not. They're nothing. So yeah, that's that. So that's going to dry. So while that's drying, I will clean this up. All right. Fresh clear water. Is this dry? Heck no. But we can sort of speed up the process a little bit. as you can see, it leaves all these little splotches everywhere. Right. Well, currently from the camera's point of view, it doesn't look too bad, but to the naked eye, it really doesn't look good at all. And that's where the cotton swab comes in. It kind of cleans up that splotchiness. It's still, I still want it to look like it's, you know, like the plane has seen some stuff, you know? It's been through some stuff. But at the same time, I don't want it really looking like crap. So, and by the time I get to a certain few spots that are still not quite dry, they will be by the time I get to them. I wanted to be able to put the lid back on. All right. This is working out in the fact that I'm not taking the blue off, which is what was happening with other planes. The alcohol was taking the base color away. Yeah, I'm going to leave a few of the splotches on there, just because I think it actually does add some flavor to it. It almost looks like, I don't know, like an acid rain or something hit it. And I think that actually is giving it quite a bit of character. Now, I'm not going to do anything with the white. I want the white to look really nice and clean. for sure from now on I'm going to be laying down the flat clear first before I do this. Pick it up there. There. That's pretty good. Maybe I do want to smudge up the white a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't want it super smudged, but just a little bit. Not quite so perfect. It's good. I mean, if I got the top part smudged up, why not the bottom too? I think that's good. Now, I don't know if you can see on the camera, there are two little spots there and there where it did actually go through just a little too much. But I think that looks okay like that. I actually don't mind that. It looks all right. Okay, that's done. It's decal time. Decal time is always a fun time. start with the top pieces, the obvious ones. Now, this is a really weird one. There was one model I saw online the guy had built this weird, great big red X outline part right there on the top, and it just looked horrible. And I was like, why did he do something like that? And then I look at the decals in this kit, and it's got that same decal, and I'm like, what? Really? They actually put that on there? Okay. If that's what they want to do. Now, these make up two pieces, 30 and 33. Yeah. Ooh, that's ready to go already. There, perfect, right? Not. And lots of water on there to keep this thing from ripping. Just kind of follows the contours of the shape of the plane, but getting it so there's no wrinkles is tough. Wouldn't be so tough if they used maybe two pieces or even four, but it seems to be doing okay just like that. Yeah, okay. Next. One circle. Two circles. And we'll get the two dots ready. Want navy. See, the decals are the kind of thing where I put a couple on, I wait 10 minutes, I put a couple more on, Yeah, more on, wait another 15 minutes, and over the course of like an hour, I've got all the decals on. Tonight, I'm thrilling everyone with my process on doing the decals. Doesn't that make you happy? Okay. Right there. Okay, well that is wetting. There's not a lot more decals. I want to paint a couple little things like blue and flat black and red on that side, or yeah, red here, blue there. Oh, that's going to be fun. So these same dots go, one goes here, one goes here. And of course you're supposed to have those vents that go all the way around on these things. And so you'd have to like cut the decal out to have that vent. Stupid. Anyway, whatever. The decals do have a nice contrast to the blue. Look at that. If I can hold it properly. There. The Royal Navy on the wing, that looks pretty cool. Right didn't want to do, see the picture on the box, you got the big red triangle on the tail fin, and no, that's ugly. And I do have it, it's there, but no thank you. It's funny, they show more detail on the picture than what's actually on the plane. Quite a few decals underneath. But you know what though? I'm pretty much done. I mean, yeah, I've got decals to put on underneath, as you can see. A whole bunch underneath there on the wings, right? All those numbers and stuff like that. A whole bunch of little detailed decals. Most of them are underneath. On the top, there's not a lot. There's not a lot on top. And there's a few on the side, you know, up here, that's typical. A few decals there on each side. Other than that, I'm done. So, my original plan was to start a brand new build tomorrow morning, or like early afternoon. That was my plan. Shit. Fuck me. Literally stuck to my finger, and then when I went to pull it off, it ripped. Okay. I'm not expecting to have to repair a decal here today. But here I am repairing a decal here today. There. Okay. With that, I'm going to call it a night. I will continue this tonight a little bit, put a few more of these on, but I'm going to take my time doing it, letting them kind of dry a little bit as I go. Inadvertently touch one and it's still wet and it moves and you don't even know it. With my tank build that I did, I had was putting a decal on one side. I had just put one on the opposite side and didn't realize that I had touched it with my hand and taken it completely off. Sat on my finger, fell off, was sitting on my pants. And I didn't even know it for like 10 minutes. So I found it's best to just take your time and do a little bit by little bit. You know, put 2 or 3 on, sit, have a coffee, do whatever, watch a TV show, and just kind of take time and relax. Do little bit by little bit. That's the best way to go when it comes to decals. Which is why some people love them, some people hate them. But yeah, there we go. Completed. It's just need some decals on it. Other than that, it's done. Yeah. So I will finish this off tonight, and I will continue this tomorrow. Probably around noon, something like that, Pacific Standard Time. So, as usual, if you want to check out some of my previous builds, including how I got this to where it is now, you can go on my YouTube. You can check out previous builds that I've done. If you want to see some still pictures of my previous builds, you can go on my Instagram. This is a little bit crooked. Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can always watch me live on Twitch, and you can ask me questions as I'm building, why I'm doing what I'm doing, all kinds of things. Ask me anything you want, really. I'll answer anything. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.